bringing you analysis and insight into the Crimson Tide. Your Crimson Cover hosts, John Copeland, Mike Parker, and Chase Goodbread. Sponsored by Burnham Hahn. And now, Crimson Cover.
Welcome into Crimson Cover Television. I'm Chase Goodbread of NFL.com, joined by Big John Copeland on my right, senior recruiting analyst Mike Parker on my left. Plenty to get into in this edition of Crimson Cover. We're going to be recapping Alabama's rout of Ole Miss, 62-7, the final score there. The 2019 Alabama football schedule is out. We'll look at that quickly. Know the Foe turns its attention to Texas A&M, a home game for the Crimson Tide this weekend. Can Tua win the Heisman Trophy? That's a little tease on the Crimson Cover mailbag question and the picks contest. And plenty more. A lot to get into, but we'll start, of course, with Alabama's win over Ole Miss, 62-7. Now, last week, we all predicted an Alabama win. We all thought it was going to be a little more high scoring on Ole Miss's end, but Mike, we saw it coming that Ole Miss's defense was not ready for this challenge, and this Alabama offense shredded it. They could have picked their score.
I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, that was one of the worst beatdowns I've seen. And if my friends at Ole Miss hadn't been talking so much smack, I wouldn't want us to lay the whooping on them that bad. But, you know, after that first score, I got about 10 text messages saying hotty toddy, and I said there are 59 minutes left to go. You better be patient.
Tagovailoa, John, still perfect on third down after 3 games, 13 for 13. He's got 6 touchdowns on third down. On 13, it's ridiculous.
That's unheard of. I mean, I've never heard of anything like that. And that's the one stat that you want your quarterback to be really good at. That's third down.
He's completed 72% of his passes, 12.9 yards per catch. 8 touchdowns and 0 picks.
This Alabama offense is different.
No question about that. Can he be one of the best well, not one of the best. Can he be the best quarterback that came through college football? Been some good ones.
Yeah, it's possible. The way he's playing, it's
None
possible.
of those good ones have been 13 for 13 on third down through 4 games. None of them.
Look, the offensive line he's got, the play caller he's got, and the wide receivers he's got, it's possible.
Tons of help for sure.
Speaking of Loxley, what a job he's doing.
Oh,
yeah.
You can't figure out how to stop this team. I mean, you play cover 2, we're going to go long or run the football on you. You play man-to-man, Tagovailoa could scramble, or we're going to hit you with the deep ball. I mean, it's going to be tough for anybody to stop this offense.
And when you have everything else covered, which is hard enough, the backs, the receivers, Irv Smith, the tight end, is getting a bigger role. He showed up big against Ole Miss. When you cover all that, Tagovailoa can still tuck it and hit you for 10 or 15 yards on the ground as a last resort.
With ease.
And it's hard to game plan for a guy that can extend plays for one, and also when the play breaks down, he can still go pick up 15 yards. It's just hard to game plan for that, and then still cover the wide receiver.
He's only been sacked twice all year long. So, I mean, we hadn't played the best defenses, but, that's still saying something.
Jerry Jeudy, 3 catches, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns to lead the way with the receiving core. Mike, we've talked about that trio of Smith, Ruggs, Jeudy being so strong as a group collectively. Does it look to you like Jeudy is starting to take over, though, as kind of emerging as the one here?
It really does. He's got 6 touchdowns. I think the next person up's got 2. So as a deep threat, and I think he's averaging 27 or 28 yards per catch. So it is starting to look like that. And he was the most.
Look at that move.
He was the most highly recruited player out of the bunch. So he was expected to be this.
Jedrick Wills, by the way, is showing us why, John, that Alex Leatherwood was moved inside to guard and Wills moved out to tackle. He totally crushed it against Ole Miss at right tackle. He's looking very, very comfortable over there.
I think he's been doing that the entire season, Chase, especially when you're talking about running the football and his run blocking. It is unmatched. It's not by anybody on that offensive line. He comes off the ball, he keep a low center of gravity, keep that back flat, and he's churning them legs, baby.
And it's by committee running football, especially this year. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, what's his face? Damian Harris only has 24 rushes after 3 ball games. 24 rushes.
Brian Robinson, who's number 4 in the rotation, had more carries than anybody against Ole Miss, 10. And the reason is because they were trying to take the air out of the ball and end the game so fast that the number 4 guy gets the most carries, John, because it was out of control so early.
And they still lose 62-7.
I mean, we scored 62 straight points.
Yes.
We're the first team in SEC history to score 50 points in the first 3 ball games. In the history of the SEC.
And we're talking Alabama football. Alabama football is not known for that.
We're not talking Steve Spurrier.
Yes.
We're talking Alabama football.
Yes.
The defensive side of the ball, Christian Miller with a big night against the Rebels. Mike, 2.5 sacks for him. Quinnen Williams, my guy, 10 tackles on the interior of that defensive line.
Think about that.
Yeah.
The nose, 10 tackles.
That means they were getting nothing.
The nose have 10 tackles.
I mean, that's when you know your defense is playing really well.
Yes.
He's a penetrator. He's not a gap stopper.
And
he's a penetrator.
I've been waiting on Christian Miller for a long, long time. And he finally came into his own.
Xavier McKinney with an interception return for a score, so you throw in that defensive touchdown as well. Sound beating all the way around. And finally, the return game before we get out of here in this segment. Want to hit on that as well. John, Josh Jacobs looking extremely comfortable, had a big kickoff return against Ole Miss. Also, Jalen Waddle, the freshman, busted a punt return. He's a natural, too.
Pleasant surprise. I mean, this kid here, I mean, he's lived up to all the expectation and all the talk. This kid just looked extremely comfortable with the football when he's returning it. Remind me of one of my good friends was David Palmer. And I haven't said that about any Alabama returner.
That's a fact.
In a long time.
You're talking about Waddle.
Yes.
Right.
It remind me of David Palmer.
Jacobs, as a kickoff return guy, to me, looks like a total natural. And I would expect him to have a big year in that role. He certainly looks comfortable in it. And he had a big one against
But, if I'm Jacobs, you're not going to get that many touches. I mean, it's divided at the running back position. So you got an opportunity to showcase your talent.
Yeah.
In the kickoff return, I mean, I bet you he's all in with that.
Returns the best part of Alabama's special teams right now. No question about that. We'll see what happens with the kicking situation. It's going to do it for this segment on Crimson Cover. When we come back, we'll take a look at that 2019 Alabama football schedule, which was just released this week. Also, our Know the Foe segment. Get you primed for that Texas A&M squad coming into Bryant-Denny Stadium. Stay with us. You're watching CCTV on WVUA 23.